is April, and April Schummer, and I appreciate you coming and helping me with my presentation. I'm doing this for school. I was given the topic, or I was allowed to choose my topic, and I happened to choose it on seeing ourselves as God sees us, discovering our worth through understanding low self-esteem. 85% of us, all people, struggle with low self-esteem. I have always been particularly aware of the value of others and really tried to make a significant difference in their life. It's been tough for me to see the value in myself, and it is through one of my greatest, not one of, my greatest challenge that I was actually became aware and understood how God sees us, and that how we see ourselves is very different than the way God sees us. Let's talk about low self-esteem. What is it? Where did it come from? And why did I get it? The 3 W's. Low self-esteem can originate or as young as when we learn our name, according to Celeste Gertson, a clinical psychologist. She said it comes from many things: situational, divorce, poverty, loss, discrimination, and it's a distorted perspective of how we see ourselves. That really made me think of this, when if low self-esteem starts or can start when we learn our name, as young as when we learn our name. I mean, that's young, and we look at those little things that we all do or did, sneak cookies, sneak this, that. But when the reinforcement isn't positive, then that's where the problem comes, right? We start to blame ourselves for those discrepancies in what we believe we are and what we think we are or taught. We all need love and attention and safety, affirmation, belongingness. We all need to have our desires met. It's when we don't, we want to know why, and we start to blame. I had spent years of my life with this belief that I was born bad. In 2009, I reached out to my older siblings. I'm number 9, there's 13 of us, but the first 8 I reached out to and asked them to give one word for their description of their childhood. And here's what they said: insignificant, loathed, hated, invisible, stupid, ugly, tolerated, resented. And I believed I was born bad, and that every bad thing that happened to me I deserved. And literally until 7 years ago, did I understand different things about myself. Low self-esteem influences what we believe about ourselves. So, breaking the cycle is tough. First time I heard I was pretty was I was in a foster home and was just drifting off to sleep, and this girl came in and she looked up over my bunk bed, and she said, "Why is she here? She's so pretty." And think about that. That says a lot about her, and it says a lot about me and what I had never heard that before about myself. So the goal is to learn to abandon our doubts, not our goals. So it is possible to see ourselves and shift that perspective of how we see ourselves. And it was through my greatest trial that I was blessed with an understanding to know and see there's a contrast between the way God sees us and the way we see ourselves. When I was in the hospital, I didn't remember much, but I recall the tile floors on the hospital floor, and the squares came together and made these stars, and there was this pattern that was carried all the way through it. Everywhere I looked, there was this pattern, and there was green like confetti all thrown with no design at all, but it worked. And I remember it being scuffed and worn, and I don't know how I got on to my hands and knees on the side of my hospital bed, but I did, and I was convulsing. My body was convulsing and throwing up green bile, and I remember being in so much agony and pain that I just can't even describe. But I couldn't control my body. I had absolutely no strength. I couldn't use my legs or my arms. Everything collapsed underneath me, and I was, the bile was just absolutely choking me. I remember the tubes and the tanks and the beeping, the alarms going off around me, and I remember all the shoes. I remember all these shoes. There were so many shoes, but when I lifted my head, I saw this Savior being crucified and bleeding from every pore. And I was so sorry for my contribution to his suffering. I recalled absolutely every sin I had ever intentionally committed. And all I could do was apologize and pray. And he was fulfilling his obligation to his Father. There's nothing I could do to make up for what I had done. And all I could do was apologize. I was sustained through my greatest trial. I had had a very logical relationship with God prior to that, but not a personal one. I knew things, but I never felt his love for me. And I wanted to feel it every day. And as I went through my biggest trial, it took me a while to understand he sees us differently because we are different than what we understand ourselves to be. We have so much potential that we can overcome. It's through the little things that we do as we go throughout our day that we can ask him and seek him and ask him, and then we need to believe him because he does. He will fill us with hope. We do have the ability to change the way we perceive ourselves. We have divine potential, nature. We're made in his image, and we have a divine, sacred worth. We are children of God. My self-esteem has a direct correlation with my relationship with God. So, not that everyone is religious, but I would recommend that we reflect and understand what our relationship is with God, and do what Joseph Smith did. I wanted a parent-child relationship with God, and I had to seek. But I do and did feel his hand in my life. Not just that day, but every day since. I understood things differently. We are his offspring. We do have the ability to change and see ourselves the way he sees us. I know that the very character of God and the correlation between us will remove all possibilities of ever having low self-esteem. I know that as we seek to see ourselves the way he sees us, he will give us the experiences we need, just like he gave me mine. We do have the ability to change. We do need to shift our perspective. And thank you so much for being here, and